Well, welcome to another market recap video. In this video, we'll cover the ES, that is the S&P Futures and the high probability trades for today. Before we jump in, I want to do a couple housekeeping things. One of the things I want to do with this video series, if I do a couple a week, is that I want to standardize the procedure. You should be doing this in your own trading anyways. You should be looking at a trading day or whatever session. If you do swing trades, for instance, you should be able to look at a chart and then identify the high probability trades and learn from those and refine your system. So this would be a result of a journal. This would be the high points from my journal, what you're seeing here on the page. So I want to standardize this process. Another thing I'll share is, for a while, I did actually stream. I actually got an audio and where I'm at, and because of my treatment, I'm not able to do that for a while. I'll see if I can set up a system where I'm at. But I do call out the trading throughout the day at key levels on Discord. So if you're not a member of Discord, this is where you can ask me questions. You can see here various times throughout the day I was calling out levels, sharing charts, and really just sharing some of the best setups from the trades that we're going to talk about here in the video. Now, before we jump in charts, this video is going to be shorter on YouTube. For members in my training, I will do another video that will be released right after this in the training area that will break down more specifically the trades that we cover in this video. So this will be a short video on YouTube. If you are a member of the training, watch this video and then watch the member video that will break down the specific setups, the rules, following the Rexdog system, and really trading around these 10 high probability trades that occurred today. So that's really what we'll cover. Let's jump in before we jump over to the charts. The other thing is that I'll cover some market or pre-market setup in this video here in YouTube in a little bit more detail. So I'll provide some more context on that. So today there's 10 high probability trades. Let's look at the chart real quick just to show it. So here's the chart view of the high probability trades that we'll go through. Now let's go through the lessons learned. And for all these lessons, I'll highlight them when we jump over to the charts. So first up, 94 minutes into the session, chart 4 provided the key levels for the rest of the trading day. I'll share that. The best fade trade required you to look at the market structure chart. And I called that within, I think, an hour and a half from that fade trade. So that was really just being patient and waiting for the right level to hit. The opening range played a role in 5 of the trades, and 90 minutes before the market closed, it was kind of obvious that the market wanted to close at a high in range. So there was two trades that are not in this that I would consider great trades, but I wouldn't consider them high probability trades given the time of the market. But they were great trades if you were available to maybe trade the close, just given how the market was aligning and how volatility was aligning. So let's jump over to the charts. We're going to jump over to TradingView first. So here's the scenario. It's 30 minutes before the market opens. You're doing your pre-market. You're going to start with the daily chart. This is what the chart would look like before the market today. Tuesday closed like this. And I'm just going to go through basically the scenario of how you would quickly do this on the daily chart using the Rexdog system, using the indicators. And then we'll drop down to the hour chart within the futures market and see, okay, where's the market going to open? And does that align with our upside and downside levels? So the first thing that I'll discuss here, it should be obvious to anybody that trades the system or has adopted any part of the system, is that yesterday on Tuesday, would have been Tuesday, the market recaptured bias and it held momentum. So the momentum and bias is long. The first obvious target for this day is where the rejection already happened here, which was the previous day high. But the obvious target on where it's probably going is the mix 200 up above. Now, this is the ES chart. So the NQ chart is actually interesting as well. I kind of wish I would do the NQ chart because the NQ chart provides some insight as well. But this is just the ES chart. So you first levels that you would identify is on a stretch of the market. This is within the range of the range that the market has been ranging, the kind of true range that the market has been ranging the last couple days. The mix 200 is within range. Market's bias long and the market's momentum long. What we'd want to do now is let's move over to the actual ES chart and let's look at the chart from the perspective of what it looked like pre-market. This is what the chart looked like pre-market on the 1 hour time frame. And what we can see in the overnight session is that momentum and bias held And the other thing is that the market looks like it's going to open on a gap up scenario. So that's what it would look like when you're doing your pre-market. So you already have the various obvious level right here, which is your various obvious where's the market probably going to try to go? Well, it's going to go to this 60-minute level. That's obvious. From there, it's just going back in the chart and looking at the key areas within the chart to figure out where are the key reaction areas. And to figure that out, let's actually go to our 4 chart setup and let's start breaking down the trade. So I'm going to zoom in on this chart a little bit here. And what you want to do is just see my highlights. Like I said, this video, I'm going to go through on YouTube. And what the best way for someone, and I know if you're new to trading, what I would suggest is you should go through my YouTube channel. There's playlists that help you. There's a couple playlists that are really beginner playlists if you're not familiar with my trade system. If you are familiar with my trade system and maybe you're not a member and you're trying to get the most out of this video, really, you should reverse engineer these areas that I'm showing and really create a trade system that works for you. So the first high probability trade was a fade trade, and this was really right around 850. If we actually go to the second chart here, we can see that was a double top scenario. There's your best entry. But shortly thereafter, right here in this area here, was your other, this would be your confirmation trade. You didn't have a lot of room because this was a fade trade. Remember, the fade trade's going to the highest probability momentum check, which it did. And then it ranged for a while. And then you got another trade opportunity, which was actually not a fade. At that point in time, at this point in time in the chart, this was actually a momentum trade. So you got a momentum trade. So you got 2 fades, and then you got what would be considered a momentum trade on one chart and kind of a questionable trade on which would be the 5-minute chart. And I know I'm going quick. Like I said, these videos are, I'm not gonna spoon feed this anymore. You should be able to keep up. And one of the things that I will always suggest is that you need to do the work. I'm not going to provide everything on a plate. I'm very intentional about the things I say and I do and what I provide here. And you have to do the work in order to make it your own. I can't give you if I could give you a trade system, if I could create my trade system, because I would have an algorithm and I would not have any reason to be out there really sharing my knowledge, because the algorithm would be able to trade for me. I might be close to that because I'm starting to test some of that. I won't go away. I'm just saying that I'm probably close to being able to create three or four algorithms that I could turn on any given day, and it will trade that day accordingly. Anyways, that's just kind of a side note. So as we move forward here, you can see throughout the day, what I really want to highlight, especially here on YouTube, is I said 94 minutes or whatever into the chart or into the trading day, there was chart 4 that decided all your trading decisions. And that's right here. This point in time right here, at this point in time on the chart right here, is where you should have, based on how the chart was behaving. Remember, one of the rules in the trading system is you don't argue with the chart. You have the 3 questions that you're always answering, but you don't argue with the chart. Well, based on how the 60-minute was momentum long, bias long, the 5-minute was momentum long, bias long, what you're looking for at that point in time is you're looking for clues inside that are inside a time chart that you can't get from time charts. So you can't drop down to a 1-minute chart, for instance, and get the data that you can get on chart 4. That's why chart 4 is powerful, and that's why from basically right around 10:07 Central Standard Times, 94 minutes or so into the trading session, chart 4 became your edge in trading today's market. And you can just see it. It's obvious for anybody that knows the system. What's obvious? Well, number 1, momentum held. And when momentum didn't hold, what held after that? Bias. So momentum and bias held all throughout the day. There wasn't a point where it was broke at all. So that is tremendous edge, because it provided you not only the areas where you could re-enter a trade or add to your trade, or where you could participate in what the dominant momentum and bias of the market was for really the rest of the day. And then you just had to be patient. And I've been saying this a lot lately. It shouldn't be called trading. It should be called waiting, because that's basically what you're doing. Now, the final trade that I'll cover here on YouTube is the best fade trade for the day. I called this probably about an hour in advance, and we were just waiting for the level. That's all we were waiting. This is the best. The chart, the structure chart showed the best trade area, or the best reaction area for the best fade trade of the day. And that happened right here, right around 12:14 or so. And this trade actually executed quick. This is the best fade trade. And within 2 minutes, it went down from 3976 all the way down to right where you would have took your profit to 3964. That was the best fade trade for the day. That was the highest probability fade trade. We called that a little over an hour in advance and was just waiting for that level. Just waiting for this breach, this level right here. And then the fade trade obviously is your first target. Your first profit area was the momentum indicators. Your next profit area is the RDA. I was actually holding out for a little bit more, but as the reaction to the actual RDA and it held up, didn't argue with the chart. Once again, momentum and bias held. You're not arguing with the chart. You're going with bias and momentum. Especially fade trades on a heavy bias and momentum day are higher risk trades. You have to take profits quick, but you can see this trade here unfolded within 2 minutes. A really good move, especially on the ES. This trade is mirrored on the NQ chart as well, so it's the same type of movement. So kind of the ES and the NQ kind of moved in the same direction, and kind of the same movements with some deviations here today. So that's all. Once again, I'll leave the comments open in this video. If you have any questions, join me on Discord. For members, I'll be sharing the more detailed video that will go into the 4 chart setups, and we'll talk about applying the Rexdog system to specific rules on 3 or 4 of these trades, just to make sure that you're tracking on the foundation and the fundamentals. I'm really focusing on reminding and reinforcing the fundamentals here consistently as we kind of go through the new year. All right, I'll see you in the next video.